So, as we've talked about quite a bit this week, a lot of preparations for an upcoming Russian spacewalk currently targeted to take place on August 10th. Today in Mission Control, I'm joined by one of our resident spacewalk specialists, Devin Balch, who's here to tell us a little bit more about what they're going to be doing during the planned 6 to 6.5 hour spacewalk on Monday. So, Devin, first off, thanks so much for joining me.
Sure.
It's always great to get insight because we don't, always know exactly. It's tough to. My Russian isn't too good, so I have
Mine
trouble
either.
reading the ops notes. But I really appreciate you being here. Starting off, they have a lot of tasks, like every spacewalk's always packed usually. Starting off with some of the science work that they're going to be doing, what are some of the external experiments that they're going to be interacting with or replacing?
Sure. So one of the first ones they'll be working with is the test experiment, which is a way that they can take samples. They have this swab device that is in a airtight container, and they can go around space station if they deem fit to swab an area that they need an analysis on, say underneath a thermal blanket or a micrometeorite shield, or if a vent is showing something, maybe swipe that. They put it in their container and then bring it home and bring it to the ground, and then they can do their analysis on it. So, and they're going to swipe a radiator and a solar array this time to see if there's anything deposited on it that shows concern. So.
Okay. And there's other experiments. I know there's one that they're going to be photographing and one that they're actually going to be kind of reorienting and working with.
That's correct. So the Expose R, that's a materials witness test, and it has quite a few different materials on it that it's biological and organic materials, and they've exposed that to space, and they're going to take pictures of this to analyze those photographs to see how those are reacting to the space environment. And also they're going to go up on and reorient this environmental experiment that is studying the environments of space, and they're going to reorient it to just get a different aspect of data from the environments of space. So.
Okay. And it's not just going to be science work for them out there. They're going to be doing some maintenance work as well. They're going to be installing some new items. What are they going to be, attaching to the outside of the station?
Sure. So one of their maintenance tasks is they're going to install some gap spanners, which those are just soft handrails that create a nicer translation path. Say the first one that they install is going to go around an experiment, and so that takes them around the experiment so they don't come in contact
with it. Stop climbing over it every time.
Exactly, correct, yeah. And then another one they're going to install that it just gives them a better translation path between two handrails. So gap spanners are used to create translation paths and ease translation paths, I guess. So, and also one of the other tasks, one of the maintenance tasks is that on a previous EVA or spacewalk, they went out and saw that one of the navigation antennas was missing its cover, and so they went and looked at another cover, and the fasteners or screws were coming out. They were backing out. So they built what they call these fastener kits, and they're going to go install these fastener kits on wall, or what they call a wall antenna or navigation antenna 1 through 5, and they just inhibit the fasteners from backing out so they don't lose another cover.
Okay.
So,
and then one of the things that I had saw that kind of caught my eye was they're actually going to be cleaning one of the windows on the Russian segment. So I mean, what's happening in that space environment that could cause a window to get dirty, and what the heck are they doing to clean? I mean, there's no Windex
no
out
Windex,
in
space
microgravity.
Windex, right?
Yeah.
So what happened is we have a lot of visiting vehicles, and all those have rocket engines, and they have an exhaust just like your car. So it's stirring up particles, and it's collected, and they noticed that window looked hazy, so they took a test experiment out there and swiped across it and left a big streak across it on a previous EVA or spacewalk. And so they did analysis, and they decided we should clean that window and make it like it was when they flew it. So they developed this toolkit that has two swabs in it with handles on it, and the swabs are kind of a type of like terry cloth. And it's just kind of, they're going to go out there and buff the little porthole window, and then put it in its container, and take the next one out and buff buff that one. It's kind of like similar to what you would use on your car headlights when they get hazy to clean them. So
Gotcha. So, I mean, some of the other Russian cosmonauts put their fingers in the sliding glass door, and now they got to go clean it.
that's right. Exactly.
Okay. Well, and one of the other things you had mentioned earlier was antennas. They're going to be doing some replacement work on one. They're also going to be jettisoning something, aren't they?
That's
mean,
correct.
That's always kind of fascinating. What goes into
So-
actually jet? So, I mean, they're basically kind of throwing something overboard.
Yes, they sure are. So previously I stated that one of the navigation antennas was missing its cover. So they're going to replace that antenna. So to get it back into its nominal configuration.
Okay.
So the antenna is number 6, and they're going to go out, and the antenna is hardwired, so they have to cut the cable off of it.
Oh, wow.
And then they'll coil that up, and then they have to go and disconnect the connector at the other end. And Gennady will remove the old antenna and place the new antenna that has the hardwired cable on it, and they'll reroute the cable and mate that cable where the old one was. And then they get in position, they take the old antenna down and get in a certain position that all the scientists have analyzed exactly the direction that it needs to go and the speed and everything else. So it's a critical time. You don't want it to come back and recontact station somewhere. So they have a specific angle and cone that they're going to
They know
jettison
exactly
that
where they need it.
where and there's some play with it.
Yeah.
It's not exactly, they don't have a laser
Within tolerance.
exactly,
Right?
yes. So and they'll jettison that, and hopefully it will re-enter and fire. It'll be a fiery ball and nothing will
It'll be
hit the
gone.
ground. That's
All right.
correct.
And then one final task that I know they have is they're going to be taking a lot of pictures of the Russian segment itself.
Yeah.
And I mean, why do they need to go out and do this, and what can people down here learn from them doing that?
Well, they take pictures pretty much every spacewalk, and so they do extensive analysis on those, and they'll see that some thermal blankets have a discoloration, or shield doesn't look quite right. So they want to go and take a picture, a close-up picture, a high-definition picture of that area. Or they may have indications of an exhaust vent. It's not acting like they think it should, so they may go and take a picture of that or that area. And like I said, they're going to take pictures of the Expose-R experiment, that materials experiment, to see how that's being affected by space. So space is a harsh environment, so there's things out there that we are still learning. So
give it a thorough look over and see if anything isn't looking like it's supposed
it's
to.
supposed to, yeah.
All right. Well, that's a rough preview of everything that they're going to be doing on Monday. Be sure to watch the Spacewalk live. The coverage time at the bottom of your screen, starting at 8:45 a.m. Central Time, 9:45 a.m. Eastern. Devin Balch again, Spacewalk specialist. Thanks so much for joining me today. Really appreciate the insight.
Yes, sir. Thank you.